Can you find a real estate platform that aligns everyone in the entire company financially by making us real estate agents owners, so when the average agent wins, everyone wins? That's the secret to success. And when you surround yourself with like-minded entrepreneurial people who absolutely love what they do, they love serving people, they love God and life, and you put yourself in an environment of high energy, high producing, positive people every day, you can't help but succeed in business and life. We are changing the real estate industry and changing real estate agents' lives. Welcome to the Financial Freedom Forever podcast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Financial Freedom Forever podcast. Today, I'm really excited to be interviewing Jesse Dau from Eagle, Idaho. How you doing, Jesse?
Great. How you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I'm really excited, guys. You're going to want to get your notepads and pens out. I'll give you a little short bio of Jesse, but after he started a real estate career in 2017, he spent 15 years in the brewing industry. But it was in his first 2 years, he completed over 50 transactions himself, mostly 50-50 splits, he said, on FSBOs and open houses. But then after hitting the burnout phase, he knew there had to be a better way. I'm sure a lot of us have been there, right? But he dug into his past history of digital and social marketing skills. And after about 18 months, he said that they really cracked the code on YouTube. And he has one heck of a business now. He's licensed in 3 different states and selling houses all over the place with his teams. And we're excited to kind of hear his story and see what he's doing, so we can maybe do the same thing. But thanks again for your time today, Jesse.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the great intro.
Yeah, so let's we'll just jump in and get started. Just kind of give us a little bit more of your real estate background and anything that you want to share, how you got to this point.
Yeah, I know you mentioned that I'm licensed in 3 states, and primarily the reason that I'm licensed in 3 states is I still own a team, 100% out in Portland, Oregon. So Portland, Oregon, the borders Vancouver, Washington. So you kind of have to be licensed in both states, and we split deals, and the Portland team does about 50-50 split. Most people don't know, you literally drive right across the bridge and you're right into Washington. And a lot of people too, when they fly into the airport, they look over, they're like, what's that? They're like, oh, that's Washington. They didn't realize it was so close. So if you're not licensed in both states, you're really missing the boat there. That's actually one of the aspects of why I love DXP too, is because, multiple states, one cap, it's amazing. Because before, when I was in the franchise model, it was like same brokerage, different franchise owners, 2 different caps. Then you go to a 3rd state. Now it's another cap, different rules, drives you crazy. So, and then the reason I'm licensed in Idaho, it's where I live, and people here are very territorial. So to keep everything compliant, I have that 3rd license here. But as far as like my business goes, and we were talking offline before, but I basically have built a very unique model. I kind of call it's like a Zillow Flex affiliate model, where I was telling you, I run my team in Portland. If I would have known what I've known today, I never would have started it. I would have just done what I've done in the long run, which is essentially figure out how to generate high quality leads using digital marketing and use other teams to close those deals, and then layer in my agent attraction business, which I'll be honest with you, that revenue share is probably the best check I get all month. So, and, like my total production is, and I don't transact anymore. I talked to my team lead out in Portland. There's only 2 agents out in Portland. We talk a couple of times a week, primarily with transactional issues. The market's kind of leery right now. So we're dealing with a lot of high maintenance clients. We're dealing with a lot of unique situations every day. It's I always say real estate's 90% of every deal is the same. It's that edge of the deal that keeps everybody on their toes.
Right.
But since I came to EXP, I've closed almost 500 transactions for about 300 million in sales. And I shouldn't say I closed it. I generated that for the agents that close our deals, which is really nice. Usually what happens and what I was doing, and, I won't jump ahead here, but essentially I even said in my bio, like I hit this burnout phase. So I got into real estate after 15 years in the brewing industry, and I actually interviewed 40 brokerages while I was getting my license, and I would teams, all that stuff. And I was really trying to find the best one. And, in my mind as a new agent, I'm like, oh, if I join the best team in the city, the number 1 team, I'm going to learn all the number 1 skills. No, you're going to learn how to be a really good ISA is basically what I came down to. And then you're going to give away, 50 split. And I always tell agents now, because I talk to hundreds of them. I always say, look, it's a value exchange. There's brokerages that charge $100K a year. There's brokerages that charge nothing. Whatever you feel like you're getting the best bang for your buck is the one you got to go with, and the value proposition. So I love that EXP basically pays us to be here if you are getting into agent attraction. But I learned the team model super quick. And I remember my first couple of days, I just was sitting there and I was like, where's all these leads? Where's all these deals? You guys said you were going to give us all these leads, joining the team, you know? And they were like, yeah, they'll come. And, you know, it was very far and few between, and I didn't have time to wait. I literally got my real estate license in 2 weeks and quit my job cold turkey with no savings. Oh, and wow. I remember asking the listing agent on the team, I was like, dude, where's the hottest deals? Cause he was doing 300 deals a year, and he's like, for sell by owners and open houses. And I was like, all right. So I basically went on to YouTube, and I was like watching someone make cold calls. And I noticed really quickly that when he was having normal conversations and not like using a script and trying to tell them that they're doing everything wrong and using empathy, he's actually getting a lot further in his process. So I was like, damn, I have a pretty good background in professional sales training. And we always used an acronym called LAYER: listen, acknowledge, empathize, and restate. So I was like, when I call these people, I'm going to try to align myself with them as fast as possible. Right. And like build a quick relationship within the first 5 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever. And, but every time I was always asking for the appointment, and it literally worked like clockwork. But then I started to realize over time too, it was like all about how much pain they have felt in their for sale by owner process. You know, I knew right away. I'm like, oh, if they just listed it, everyone's calling them, they're on their high horse. Right. Then it was like, oh, I'm going to offer a buyer's commission. Then I knew that they were getting weaker. And then it came down to like, oh, I'm going to start interviewing agents. And, you know, early on I would they'd say, oh, I'll work with you when I list. And then they list with someone else. And I started to understand, like, I'd ask them, I'm like, well, how many people are calling you every day? And they're like 300. I'm like, all right, I got to call these people every single day, ask for the appointment every single day. And that's what I did. And it started to work. And actually one of my for sale by owner clients, that was actually ended up becoming a friend of mine. I sold his house 5 years ago. I just have his house listed now for $2.5 million, another one. So the one and only for sale by owner to ever call me back for a referral. And then the other side of that was open houses. And what I did on the open house scene was, so you're working with for sale by owners, which is a weekday job. Then you got open houses as a weekend job. Right. Dude, there's no downtime. I was going guns blazing. And what I would do with my open houses is I would literally grab my pen and paper. And as soon as they came in, I would be like, hey, just I would never ask them to sign in. I always thought that was really weird. I would say, hey, what's your name? And then I would write their name down, and I'd just say, are you a nosy neighbor, or are you really out shopping for a house? And they'd be like, they thought that was funny. I'd say, hey, before you leave, I just want to get some quick feedback from you. And so they'd go do their thing, and then they would walk up to me, and I would literally just start taking notes. Like I was super interested in what they were saying. Of course, they want to give you their take. Everybody has an ego. Right. And I would say, cool. Doesn't sound like the house is for you. Or I'd say, hey, the house, it sounds like it's perfect for you. Do you have an agent I can contact and let them know that you might want to make an offer? And they would say, oh, I'm not working with an agent, or, oh yeah, here, you can give me their information. But I would like find out right then whether they're working with an agent or not. Yeah. You know, and if they were like, oh, this isn't my house, I'd say, cool, I have a couple other houses down the street, or one coming up off the market I think you'd be interested in. Can I send it to your agent? I'd always lead with that first. Yeah. Because it would drop their guard. They'd say, oh no, I'm not working with an agent. Boom. And I would like just instantly pretend that they were my client. I'd shoot them a video message, send them an email, text message them, ask them to meet for coffee the next day, or even show them some houses later that day. And, and that theory worked. Like that way worked.
Yeah, that's great. That's a really good tip. That's some really good gold nuggets right there. Just
actually, I have an agent that, one of my best friends that since high school got into real estate, never closed any deals his first 2 years in real estate. He wasn't with us at EXP. He ended up joining me at the other brokerage I was at. And he was doing open houses, champagne, all that stuff. And I was told him, I'm like, dude, you're creating a liability. Like, get rid of all that stuff. Like, you need clients. You don't need to throw parties. And I said, use this technique. And I showed him exactly what I did. And he did it. And he ended up closing 20 deals from open houses using that same philosophy. And so when I teach people how to do open houses, I'm like, you know, I haven't done it in a couple of years, so I don't know if it's going to work today. I'm sure it would. Things haven't really changed that much. Right. But I was looking for the hottest leads, and that on the buying side, open houses are the hottest. They're shopping. For sale by owners, boom, they have a sign in their house. The problem is for sale by owners don't think they need you. They don't respect you. They think they're better. They think they're going to save money, all the things. So you're working with someone that hates you. And then the open house buyers don't think they need an agent because they're out shopping without one.
Right.
So it's literally, you're taking the two worst people that are the hottest leads. And after 24 deals my first year, I was like, this is freaking grind. I can't stand it. Yes, I made $300,000 my first year or whatever it was, but it was not worth it. I will tell you that much. And I didn't close a deal for my first 90 days. And that was painful. I literally went and took a loan out of my 401k for 25 grand. And I said, if it doesn't work, I'm done. And I put the screws to myself and ended up making it work. And then, did the same thing the following year. About halfway through the year, I was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. But I had so much business in my pipeline. I basically took the summer off and was just handling listings from my bed because I was so tired and just done. I was like sitting in my room watching freaking Ballers on Showtime and working with my listings that I had piled up. And then, and then that's kind of what transitioned me into wanting to figure out the whole video marketing piece.
So what company did you start off at first? You said you were looking for a big team or you thought that was going to be the best fit. And then what was the next one?
Yeah. So I was started out at KW.
Okay.
And a very traditional team still is up there in the top 15. I had a big, I had a big problem there. I don't want to knock on KW because it wasn't a KW issue. It was a team deal, but I was generating all these leads and setting appointments. And they wanted you to send the listing agent into the appointment, not the buyer. I was a buyer's agent. They actually called me a hybrid because I was setting listing appointments. But they're like, yeah, send it to the listing agent. You'll get a 25% split if they close a deal, blah, 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 blah. And they were the listing agent. They had so much repeat business that they would just hand off all these leads to the buyer's agents. And I was getting none of those. And I was like, dude, what's up with this? I'm generating all these deals for myself. And you're just handing these deals off. You know what he said? He said, yeah, you don't need the help. And also your performance is showing that you're not going to be here very long. So I was like, okay, see ya. So I was only there for a little bit of time. And then I bounced and went to actually Next Home. And, that was a really good experience. And the reason I really liked Next Home actually is their marketing system was freaking amazing. You could plug it's kind of like what EXP kind of is like going to now, where as soon as your listing showed up, all of your marketing showed up. It's,
right.
You could plug in an address and it was actually through, Cloud CMA. They syndicated it with their own company. So they had everything was branded. They had these really nice, beautiful hardbound books. So that was the thing is when I was becoming a listing machine, I would always show up with my beautiful hardbound listing presentation. I made it specifically for the homeowner. I always went and got a picture taken of the house before I showed up. So it was really nice. The owners, they always appreciated that too. And I do it now too with the luxury side. I'm on the luxury program. So
right.
Even if it's a, $650,000 house, I use the luxury platform just to send them the pre-listing stuff because I think it's so cool.
Right.
So yeah, those were the two brokerages I was at. I learned a lot of great things. This was like when Keller was trying to fire up Command. So there was a lot of hiccups there. I really felt like the team didn't even really operate much in the Keller Williams model. They used the office, but they just did everything on their own. And then, moving to Next Home, learned a lot of stuff there. It was a small office, like 20 agents. It was very cliquey. We did have a lot of great relationships with a lot of builders though. So we represent a lot of new construction. And, I loved at the time coming from KW, they had the cold calling set up. Then I go to Next Home and they don't have that. So every day I would show up and just be everyone in there that didn't sell homes complaining about the market sucked. So I was like, I ended up getting a secondary office and working a lot out of my house, which still to this day, everything's set up in my house. I've been working out of my house since I was 18 years old. I can't stand going into an office. Early on in my career, I liked it because I was brand new and I wanted to learn as much as possible. So I wanted to be in the middle of the, gamut. So it was cool actually at Keller Williams because I had a guy that worked for Seven Doors. He was their head recruiter in our office. So he recruited for the whole country. So I actually, he runs his own coaching company now, but he sat right next to me. So I'd hear him on the phone all day long, recruit. And so I learned a lot from him. And then there was another guy, the ISA team was right next to me. So I heard them cold calling FSBO. We all used a different philosophy, but
sure.
Yeah. That was that.
That's very interesting.
Then I'll tell you what happened. Actually, when I left Next Home, I went and told them because they were trying to get me to buy a franchise so bad. I was the number one resale agent my first 2 years in real estate at both company or at Next Home because I was only at Keller Williams for a short time. Okay. So they were like trying to get me to buy a franchise and they were so excited. And then I told them, I said, hey, just let you know, I'm leaving. And I said, I really want this to be an amicable parting because I had like 30 deals under escrow at that time. And I didn't want them to just shut me down.
Yeah,
and I had new construction deals that weren't going to close for months. So I just told him, I said, hey, look, let's be friends, all the things. And he said, okay. He goes like, I knew you were going to leave, but I never thought it would be EXP. They actually every week in our office, they would just bash EXP. It was so interesting. And that's where I was getting my information. So it took me a while to make the move. So I tell him I'm leaving. And then that night, guess what happens? They shut down everything. Yeah. And I called him back on the phone. I was like, dude, you said you weren't going to do this. And he's like, oh, the company's making me do it, this and that, this and that. And I was like, dude, all right, dude, I see where the line's drawn.
Yeah, that's crazy. So what made you move over to EXP? I mean, why did you make that decision?
Yeah. So this is what happened. There's a couple layers of this, and we were alluding to digital and social marketing. And that's really what led me here. Was through my burnout phase. I was thinking, there's all these video was starting to become a big thing. And, this is probably mid 2018. And I started like seeing all these agents starting to do a lot of video, and I'm seeing people on the stages talk about video and digital and social marketing. Facebook ads are popping up like crazy. This was still like Craigslist era too.
Right.
So everyone's trying to beat the lead. Right. And, I started asking all these agents that were doing videos in my market. I'm like, dude, I see you everywhere, but are you actually getting deals? And all of them were like, no, I'm not getting any deals. And I always thought like, if you can kind of build like a $1 million listing style, persona in digital and social marketing, I'm like, I don't know if it'll generate leads from clients, but it'll generate referrals. So if you live in a hot relocation market, agents are going to see you, send you referrals. So I was like, right. Whatever. I'm like, I'll try to build a digital platform using Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wasn't even out then, YouTube, Google, LinkedIn, every strategy. So I decided to go all in on all of them. And actually at that time, my title officer, his name's Jackson, he's now my business partner, was, actually starting to like become like basically like my videographer as the title rep. And he's like, the only reason I'm working with you is because no one else wants to do it. So we would meet every single day and do videos. And I kept telling him, I'm like, dude, you're on the wrong side. You need to get over to real estate. I know what they're doing. They're blowing smoke up your butt and they're promising you this dream, but they're not delivering on any of their promises. And so he ended up getting his real estate license and basically ended up sucking really bad at real estate. He'll even say this day, like, I'm the worst real estate on planet Earth, but I know how to generate deals. And so he gets his real estate license. And we kind of basically, after he couldn't sell any houses, I said, why don't you become my assistant? I'm so busy with all my, that's another reason I was able to take that summer off is because I had him out doing my grunt work. I said, I'll give you 20% of all my closings. I just need you to basically be my assistant and focus on this video thing. So we started doing that. And then we started building this platform called Digital Mayor Now, which is, we were going to teach and train agents how to build a following through social media, but we really wanted to deliver high quality leads. So we started interviewing all these agents in the video space. And they were all saying the same thing that the local people were saying. Yeah, we're doing all these videos, getting all these followings, but we're not getting any deals. And we ended up interviewing this one agent who was, she actually focused a lot on blogs, but she was converting her blogs into YouTube videos. And we were interviewing her, and at the end of every podcast, we were like, are you closing deals? She's like, yes, I actually have 6 in escrow, 1 closing today. And we were like, that's awesome. You're the first one to tell us this. Right. So we went and looked at her channel, and what we saw is that she had all these real estate videos on her channel, but she had all these non-real estate videos that were like her top videos. And those were when we were using a search engine optimization tool, we realized really quickly that the ones that are not real estate related are the ones that are actually being searched. So you kind of have to marry non-real estate related search terms and make it real estate, and I'll tell you how we did that here in a minute. So we went to Google really quick and we were like, cost of living in Portland, Oregon, searched 30,000 times. And everyone in the industry was teaching keywords everywhere, which was a tool at that time, which was designed specifically for Google. Right. Well, YouTube had a tool at that time called Morning Fame, which now is called TubeBuddy. So we're on Morning Fame and we're like cost of living in Portland, Oregon, and boom, it pops up 300,000 times. So we're like, okay, 10 times more people are searching on YouTube, these keywords. And so we start like basically just writing on what would we be thinking if we were a buyer relocating. So we're like writing down every topic. We still have the list. It's called the gold mine. And we're like searching, and every single one's like 150,000 million searches. Like it's crazy. Wow. And we're like, holy crap. And so we're searching it, and it's like every single one is faceless videos or someone sitting in their like bedroom with a blanket, like talking for 2 hours about Portland. So we're like, we can make way more interactive videos and show them what it's like to live here. So we start making these videos, and you know, even after we make them, we're getting a ton of views. Then it goes back. Then we like mess up and we make another video about, you know, top 30 restaurants in Beaverton, Oregon, and boom, it flops. Like no results. And then we do a sushi bazooka video with our family, and boom, no results. Like no one cares because those aren't what people are searching. So we start realizing really quickly, like, okay, we got to make content for what people actually want at the top of the funnel. And then we started getting a couple calls coming in, and it wasn't anything life-changing, but they were started to trickling in. And we were working with this lender that was editing all of our videos. And his boss one day was like, hey guys, your videos are awesome. You guys are building a big following, but are you getting deals? And we're like, we haven't had a closing yet. He's like, I'm going to tell you what you need to do. He said, if you guys know the history of video and YouTube specifically, everyone is told to make short style videos. However, he's like, YouTube is long form. He's like, what's your average view duration? We're like 6 to 8 minutes of video. He goes, exactly. He's like, how many people are waiting till the end? We're like, it's almost 0. He's like, put your call to action up front. Don't put it at the end. You'll see on YouTube today too, it like drops off really quickly. And the reason why is because of now YouTube counts a view as a pre-roll. So if you're scrolling through YouTube and the video starts playing, whether you stop or not, that's counted as a view. So everyone loses about 40 to 50% of their audience within the first couple of seconds. So anyways, we always ran a structure called hook, call to action, video, outro. So we did our hook, and the first video we did like in, I believe it was June of 2018. We put our call to action on that video, and boom, when we dropped that video, we had 40 people call us. And we weren't like saying like, we're the #1 real estate agents. We were just like, hey, what's up? This is Jesse with the Real Agent Now Group right here in Portland, Oregon. If you're even thinking about relocating or making a move, give us a call. It's day, nights, weekends. We got your back when making a move. And bam, it was like lightning in a bottle. And we were like, crap, we just cracked the code. And we ended up, out of that first initial push, we ended up closing 17 deals from our initial run. And then it was all lights out. But what happened was like the brokerage, you're asking why we left, is they like started to take notice. And they were like, hey, we would love for you guys to come in and train the agents. So we get on the call, we do this big training. And yeah, it was 2018. We do this big training, and they're like, this is great. This is great. This is great. And then they had a national sales conference coming up. We're like, we would love to come down and speak at the national sales conference. And they said, this is a flash in the pan. This is never going to work long-term. So basically we're not supporting your business. And I look at my business partner. I said, F this, we're going to find a company that aligns with our vision and somewhere where we can expand, because we need one company. This is what I learned in corporate America, is if you're going to basically grow and expand, it's like what Glenn's done with the cloud brokerage model, is like, you need to be able to take the same system and implement it into another market without any like hiccups, essentially.
Right.
So I'm like, if we're from the franchise model, you're dealing with all these barriers, you know, different franchise owner, different rules, you know, even if, and in Keller Williams, if they weren't on the franchise expansion program, you weren't getting the benefits. So, so what I did is I actually went back and started interviewing brokerages again. And I was like, I was so new into real estate. I had no clue that there was a franchise model, independent model, you know, EXP model. So what I saw happening is I was going to Keller Williams, Remax, all these companies, and they were all telling me the same thing. They were all giving me this franchise lingo without saying we're a franchise.
Right.
So I finally got so fed up with it. I was literally in my car after Remax, and I'm sitting in my parking lot, and I'm like Googling, who is the only brokerage without, because I was like, if I removed all these brokerage names, what would I be left with? And I'm like, and then it dawned on me, I'm like, they're franchises. I'm like, they're freaking franchise. I'm like, they're like 7-Eleven of the real estate industry. Because in the beer industry, like 7-Eleven, it's like next to Walmart's the #1 account. There's 5,000 independent franchises. So I literally get on my phone, I Google, who is the only independent brokerage in America or whatever. Boom, a blog pops up and it's EXP. And I call my coach. He'd been trying to recruit me to EXP for a while. And I was like, dude, I'm done. I said, I'm ready to take a look at EXP after he'd been bugging me for like a year plus. And I'd also started seeing like all these big players. I mentioned that we talked with Kyle Whistle. He was like an interview podcast guest. You know, Kenny Trong, Fast Agent, was we saw him make the move. I started seeing all these big players make the move. And, you know, we had so much, I was one of the first agents in our state to go to EXP, I think. And so it was still super early. It was a lot of hate going on. and I was listening to the noise. And, I always tell everyone like that, listening to other people talk costed me millions of dollars. Cause if I would have made the move early, it would have been a different situation. So the reason I really liked EXP. So when I sat down with Sam Rodriguez, actually, him and Frank, and no other company would show me the back end. No other company would show me anything. Sam's like walking me through EXP World, pulls up KV Core, all this stuff. And I'm like, Skyslope walking me through it all. And I was like, all right, dude, this is awesome. And they didn't even hard close me, They just say, hey, if this is for you, great. If not, at least I use that closing line all the time with agents. I say, hey, it's either going to be, if it's for you, great. If not, no big deal. At least you'll know. And so I left that meeting. I called my business partner because he was in the title and escrow business forever. And I was like, dude, we're making a move. And he's like, where? And he's like, not EXP. And I said, yep, EXP. He's like, all right, I'll do whatever you want. And I thought the team was going to be sad. I didn't know if they would come over, and dude, it couldn't have been further from the truth. They were super excited. They're like, we're going wherever you go. That was a whole other situation, but that ended up taking us 4 months. So I capped at my previous brokerage. I didn't do the cap deferral when I came over, but I was dragging my feet because we had so many deals at escrow. And that's like YouTube was like blowing up for us at that time. And what was happening, because it so that transitioned out to like 2020. So I came here in March 2020, and that's when COVID started going. And that's like YouTube freaking went bonkers because everybody was free to move throughout the country.
Yeah.
So I told my team, I said, the day that we don't have an offer going out is the day we'll make the move. And it took us 4 months for that to happen. So I was telling you, we had like 30 escrows. It was crazy. And finally I told the team to shut it down. And that's what we did. We just stopped writing offers for a week and made the move.
Wow, that's amazing, Jesse. That's really cool. So it all really got started because of all the YouTube channels and kind of figuring that out, and the business started coming in, and you weren't getting the kind of support you needed where you were. So you started checking out other companies, and that's pretty amazing. What are you surprised with at EXP? Was there, when you moved over, was there any big surprises?
Yeah, 100%. Revenue share. So what happened was, and this is like so when I was interviewing and I'll be honest, when I came over, as much as I love my upline, I was interviewing other agents. I'm like, I need to find out who I align the best with, who can add the most support. I don't lean on them for much, but if I do, like Chuck's in my upline, he's great if we need to talk to a brokerage. If I'm talking to a big team at KW, I bring in Curtis. Like we have different players for different roles, and I'm so new into real estate, I didn't know what I was doing. I'm like, I know I'm going to get to these brokers and these owners and these big teams, but I need someone with the firepower that can back me up in the foxhole. And what are they going to listen to me that I've closed 50 deals from for sale by owners and open houses? Come on. So what surprised me is Curtis kept saying, dude, he's like, you guys don't even understand what you guys have. And like, you're undervaluing yourself, like for what you can really do in the sense of like agent attraction and things like that. So I was like, whatever, I've been in the freaking profit sharing model. My office used to have this thermometer, and I always laugh because it was October when I left, and it was at 30 grand for the year for the whole office. And now my revenue share goes beyond that. But, so I'm like, whatever, I've heard this play before. I don't care. Like, I'm not here for revenue share. I'm here to sell real estate. So what happened was, I got here on March 1st, and I randomly had a closing in the first revenue share, time period. And I got this check, and it was $675. And I told my business partner, I said, I think they overpaid me on this deal. I need to go talk to the office and go into EXP World. And I'm like, are you missing $675? And he's like, no. So I go in there, and I asked the lady, I'm like, what's this $675 for? And she's like, oh, that's your revenue share disbursement. And I'm like, but we only closed one deal. And she's like, yeah, it's just based on the company dollar. She like tells me this formula or whatever. And I'm like, so $675 on one deal. She's like, yep. She goes, but when they cap, they stop paying revenue share. I was like, I got it. So I literally like in my own mind at that moment, I was like, I am thinking about this all wrong. I go, if I can help people grow their own business and I can give them the tools to generate deals, it'll force them into expansion. I don't have to take a split from them, but it will pay me back indirectly from the brokerage. And so I was like, I can just create all these. And this is before I even knew One Big Fire. I'm like, I told my business partner, I'm like, essentially look at it like creating thousands of little fires around the country. It'll eventually get blazing so hard that it'll become one giant fire, and we'll be paid miraculously. And he's like, whatever. He's like, if you say it's going to work, it's going to work. So I created this YouTube thing, created this real estate thing. Now I'm like under the revenue share model. So he's like, well, we've recruited sold all these homes through YouTube. He's like, just start a channel about EXP, figure out what people are searching for, and we'll recruit agents through a YouTube channel. So I started this YouTube channel called the Cloud-Based Brokerage, and I just started doing videos about EXP, and I used my call to action the same way I did in the videos. And I ended up hitting 100 frontline agents
Oh, wow.
in less than it took us a year to get 13 months to hit 100 agents. And then it took us one more month to get to 200 agents. And that's when I saw the biggest uptick in my revenue share. It went from like 6,000 to 16,000. And then from that point forward, it just started going. And, I tell agents all the time, I said, it's not about the revenue share. It's about the quality of your revenue share model, your agents. So like I saw like our revenue share went from like 27 deals to 60 deals that from month, 13 to 14. And that's when the big uptick started. So then it was like 15,000, 16,000, 17, 18, 19, 20. And now we've had 40,000 months, $40,000 months, which is great.
Yeah.
And so now, now I think my front line's at like 47 agents. I have in the 30 FLQA range. I've always been tier 7, but I don't have any agents in tier 7, which makes me sad. I just haven't been here long enough. Right.
That's
so,
right.
so the one thing I encourage every agent, is I always say, embrace the model. And this is one thing Chuck said to me too. So what I did also, and I'll back it up to what I did, is when I first came on board, as I said, I built a podcast kind of like what you have going here. And I interviewed every agent at EXP that had a big organization that would get on my podcast. I sent them all a bomb video. And I had like Tina Call, Chuck Fazio, Fast Agent, Kyle Whistle,
Right.
You name it, they were on the podcast. And I'd always ask them, like, what's your number one tip to give agents? I was just a sponge wanting to learn. And like Chuck said, you have to embrace EXP for what it is and use the tools for what it is. Otherwise, you're just trying to operate another brokerage. He's like, I made that same mistake. And that's what I hear even Kinder say. He's like, when I was trying to entrepreneur EXP for the first year, nothing was happening. But then when I embraced the model, followed the plan, it was game over. And so I was really a learner and tried to absorb the model the best I could. And so now and Grant Cardone said this in his Grant Cardone training when they had it here, is he said, your first experience with anything is going to set the tone for your life with whatever it is. So we have an onboarding specialist now that onboards everybody. She actually is an agent at EXP. And I try to put everyone through a real experience of onboarding. And because I've had so many agents early on say, it was miserable. Well, it wasn't miserable because 50% of the agents were saying it was great. 50% said it sucked. It's just the way that you learn. Right. So I always ask agents in our onboarding call, I just say, are you a visual learner? Are you auditory? Do you need to see someone do it? They're like, oh no, I can do it all. I'm great at I'm great at using instructions from IKEA. I'm like, cool. You probably don't need my onboarding specialist, but if you want her, she's there. If they're like, oh no, I'm the worst, I hate IKEA furniture. I have to hire someone off of, one of those apps that people put stuff together. I'm like, cool, you need this person, right? So I really try to create the experience. I've really worked hard to like build the culture, re-engage the agents. Right now people are looking for options. People want help. The industry slowing down. I mean, we are seeing people exit super fast. People getting W-2 jobs, which blew my mind. I had a girl in my downline or in my team that closed 60 deals last year. And that the first sign of the market shift, because she got in 2020, the first sign of the market shift, she went and got a job and quit. I was freaking blown away. I couldn't believe it. So I was like, all right, I see what's up. So.
Yeah, that's interesting. We do the same thing. We kind of have a white glove service for everyone that we onboard. My wife actually is our onboarding specialist and there to take care of our people as anything that they need as we get them up and running. So it makes a big difference. So they can get going faster and they got somebody that's there, at any time they need to get questions answered till they start figuring things out.
Yep.
So you got an amazing story, Jesse. I mean, from doing FISBOs and open houses to figuring out YouTube and needing more support, and now it's blown into having a big team in different states. I'm pretty excited. Where do you think you're going to be in 3 to 5 years from now? What's your goal with your business?
Yeah, it's a good question. Excuse me. I always think about that myself. It's funny. I actually subscribed to RedX like 6 months, or maybe it was like 3 months ago, because I just got the renewal. Because I'm like, I'm going to see what's going on with the for sale by owners and expireds. It's not like I was telling you earlier, it's not the same. It's literally on the expired list in my market. It's one shows up every 7 days.
Oh wow!
So that market's kind of evaporated. And the for sale by owners is the exact same thing. And so, when you ask what the future holds is, I always think about that, and I like to ride the waves and lean into, whatever it may be. So like, we have our real estate business, the market's slowing down right now. So like we've been impacted by that. The nice thing is with YouTube, it's typically relocation. So it's people with money, people with great credit, people with good amount of down payment, and they're ready to make a move quick. And they usually move really quickly. So we get a lot this year. We've had a lot of listings. Our businesses, we've got a lot of listings. But when I think about the future, like now with the YouTube space, what I've noticed even in the last like 3 months is the coaching model of YouTube is starting to get diluted. And, it's kind of like, you look at the coaching industry too, with like, Tom Ferry, Brian Buffini, you even looking at outside of real estate, you look at like Brian Tracy and them, they're the OGs, and that's like the way I tell my team all the time. I'm like, dude, we're the OGs. We have the best platform out there. We run 15 of our own channels. We know what every single market's like. We know what's happening. We eat, breathe, and sleep analytics. So like we have a pretty nice cornerstone with that. But for me, like my passion has always been in to create a technology or a software for the industry. I don't know if you watched the pandemonium video that Mike Del Prete put out recently, but he was talking about the last 1 mile is the most difficult situation to solve. Right. So I was telling you too offline is that I live in an area where a lot of people made exits out of technology companies and moved to my city. Like this is a hub for a lot of tech people. So I was actually talking to a guy the other day who was building an AI tool that you could put the camera on your dashboard and drive around. And he basically he went on to Google Earth. He identified 100 homes that sold in the last 6 months. He went on to Google Earth and took a picture of them, every house, put it into an AI tool, a learning software, and he was identifying features of the homes that have sold. So basically like, houses that are blue sold, whatever. So he was identifying characteristics. So he's like, I'm trying to build this tool that will predict which houses are going to sell. Right. And there's already tools out there that do it like for wholesaling. So I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. I mean, I don't know if it would actually work, but I was like, those are the things that really get me excited. And I do think that, it's crazy. It is, our conversion rate on the leads that we help our agents generate is 8.4% conversion. Like once you get them on Zoom, or even once you find out if they're buying or selling, it's game over. It's pretty much 100%. But, my goal for the future is to really create tools and systems that create a higher quality lead. I think if you can create that, you basically crack the code, and every company in the world is trying to figure that out. It's very difficult. Real estate agents are very relevant, and everyone learns the hard lesson. I mean, if you look at Open Door now, their whole thing is like, we embrace the agent. You look at Zillow now, we embrace the agent. Redfin learned the hard lesson early on. So yeah, that's what the future is for me. Also, I'm really focused too. I'm really focused on building like meaningful relationships with teams and brokerage owners, because I'm really gun-ho on this recruitment thing. And when I say thing, it's obviously I know what it is. I do very well, but I want to, we have a lot of great resources, a lot of great tools, and I'm always like, these agents that have 6,000 agents in their downline or more, I'm like, I can get there. I just need the people in my front line that can help me get there. Right. So that's why I'm like so focused on teams and brokerages, because they know how to build.
Right. Exactly. And
so I always tell every agent that joins me, I said, if you can get 25 teams, and I know that sounds like a big number, even one's a big number, right? And it's not an overnight solution. That's what happens with a lot of agents is I tried throwing a little party, or I did this one time and I didn't see anything happen, so I quit. It's like, everyone should go listen to Tom Brady's story. It's the most inspiring story you'll hear out of him from the day as freshman in high school, all the way through, up into the pros. It's crazy. But, it's with real estate. It's a long-term play. And if you just can say, hey, look, I'm going to get, one every 3 months quality, because I will tell you, I've been down the low quality route and, having one great person versus 20 low quality agents that don't do anything besides suck up your time and end up leaving, looking for the next best deal is a freaking grind.
Yeah, you definitely want quality people to be your business partners. That's for sure. But hey, I want to thank you for your time today. But before we go, you gave me a link that we can post to give to our listeners. called was a $1 billion channel method. I'm going to have you explain that to me. I'm going to post it here. And anybody, you guys got any questions for Jesse, please put them in the chat before we end here. And thanks for everyone for joining us. But yeah, tell us about your book and what we're going to post here.
Yeah, so the book is called The $1 Billion Channel Method. It's basically our whole entire story from start to finish. There's lots of great nuggets in there that you can implement directly into your business as far as like understanding the struggle that we went through. And this is like the conversation I have with agents all the time. I'm like, what took me 18 months and over 6 figures and going down the wrong path, doing everything the wrong way, is now I can hand to you in a copy and paste model, and you can go from 0 to where I was in less than 30 days. And everyone wants that quick fix, you know? And sometimes different markets yield different results, different creators yield different results. But I promise everyone that as long as you follow the game plan and stick to the process, it will eventually pay off. And our first year students average do like 126,000 in GCI, about 6 deals. Everyone that's 1 year and above is 385 in GCI and 27 plus deals. So it always doubles. The doubles are quicker. So, you know, our Facebook group is actually a lot of great value in there. It's just called Channel Junkies. Pretty much Channel Junkies is where you can find anything. Just go Google.
Okay.
And, but the book is amazing. The Audible version is different than the hardback version.
Okay.
So if I was recommending somebody to take one, I would say go for the Audible, and you won't be disappointed. But we will also be at EXPCon. We're a sponsor. We have a booth there. So stop by, say what's up, and we'd be happy to chat.
That's fantastic. So yeah, we'll definitely be looking for you at EXPCon here in a couple of weeks. And I'm looking forward to seeing you. I normally at the end always ask you what's the favorite book that you recommended, but I think that's going to be the one that we should recommend, right?
Yeah, I read that book a lot. Yeah, man, there is so many great books out there. Gosh, I'll be honest with you. I've read tons of books a lot of times, so I don't even know what my favorite book is. That's a good one. I've read this one 1,000,000 times, and it's actually my business partner that wrote it. So it wasn't me. It's more of like his story versus mine. I am in the book, but I love hearing the story.
That's fantastic. Well, I really appreciate you coming on our Financial Freedom Forever podcast today, Jesse. I mean, a lot of gold nuggets. Hopefully everyone got some value for sure. Definitely click on that link that I posted in the chat and download that book. And we'll see you in Vegas, Jesse.
Yep, we'll see you then.
All right. Have a great day. Thanks, everyone, for joining us on the Financial Freedom Forever podcast. And we'll see you again here next week. Take care, buddy.
Yep.
Listen to what our business partners are saying about our FFF group.
What I love most about our group, the alignment, the fact that I am aligned with some of the top producers in the world and can pick their brain any second of the day has been absolutely incredible for my business and has taken it to the next level. And I have to account it to alignment.
My favorite thing about the FFF group is just being surrounded by people with the same mentality as us that are striving for something better and building a better long-term plan for themselves.
My favorite part is the support. I can't tell you how many top producers have just kind of dropped what they're doing and supported us in a big way when we've had any kind of curveballs or compliance issues or any kind of new experience. Everyone within our group is just willing to give. And that's probably the best part about our Financial Freedom Group.
I believe if you surround yourself with like-minded people that are doing 10 to 15, 20 times more than me and you put together, we all bring each other up and bring our businesses to the next level and our lives. To learn more about how to partner with us, go to partnerwithandre.com or click the link below and let's have a conversation.